Life has a way of making us feel lost. We find ourselves standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take. Some of us have worked hard, built careers, raised families, and still feel an emptiness that success cannot fill. Others have faced hardship after hardship, wondering why their struggles never seem to end. Some of us are carrying burdens so heavy that we don't know if we can take another step. But I want to tell you today, no matter how lost you feel, you are not forgotten. No matter how broken your heart is, there is healing. No matter how far you have drifted, there is a way home. You may feel like you have wandered too far, made too many mistakes, wasted too much time. But I am here to tell you that God's grace is bigger than your failures. His love is greater than your doubts. And His plan is still unfolding even when you can't see it. The truth is, every one of us has felt lost at some point in life. The weight of our past, the uncertainty of our future, the disappointments of today, they all whisper lies to us, telling us we have no purpose, no hope, no direction. But those are lies from the enemy, because God's Word tells us that He is a God of redemption. He is a God of second chances. He is a God who seeks out the lost and brings them home. If you feel lost today, I want you to remember this. God has not abandoned you. He has not given up on you. He is right there beside you, even when you can't feel Him. Sometimes we are so focused on the storm around us that we forget who is in the boat with us. The disciples were caught in a raging storm, terrified that they would perish, but Jesus was right there with them. And when the time was right, He spoke to the wind and the waves and said, "Peace, be still." The same God who calmed the storm is the same God who is with you in your storm. Maybe your storm is financial. Maybe it is emotional. Maybe it is spiritual. Maybe you don't even know how you ended up in this place. But I want you to know that God does. He knows exactly where you are, and He has a plan to bring you through. There is a story Jesus told about a lost sheep. The shepherd had 100 sheep, but one wandered away. A good shepherd doesn't say, "Well, I still have 99. No, a good shepherd leaves the 99 to go and find the one. That's how much you matter to God. You are not just a face in the crowd. You are not just another person struggling through life. You are His child, and He will never stop pursuing you. You may say, "But I've made too many mistakes. I've messed up too many times." Let me tell you about the prodigal son. He took his father's inheritance, wasted it all on reckless living, and found himself in a pigsty, hungry and broken. But when he came to his senses, he said, "I will go back to my father." And do you know what happened? His father didn't turn him away. His father didn't make him earn his way back. No. His father saw him from a distance, ran to him, embraced him, and threw a celebration. That is the heart of God towards you. No matter how far you have gone, you can always come home. Maybe you feel lost because life hasn't turned out the way you expected. You had dreams, plans, and hopes, and now you look around and wonder where it all went wrong. But I want to remind you of something. God's plan is greater than yours. His ways are higher than your ways. Joseph was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and left in prison. If anyone had a reason to feel lost, it was him. But through every trial, God was positioning him for something greater. And in the end, Joseph looked back and said, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." Maybe the very thing that has made you feel lost is the thing God is using to prepare you for your purpose. Maybe the pain you're feeling today is birthing something greater for tomorrow. Maybe the detour isn't a mistake, it's divine direction. God knows where He's leading you even when you don't. Trust Him. There are times when being lost isn't about where we are, but about what's happening in our hearts. Sometimes we feel lost because we have drifted from God. Maybe we stopped praying like we used to. Maybe we let sin take root. Maybe we've allowed fear, doubt, or bitterness to pull us away. And suddenly we look up and realize we are far from where we once were. But no matter how far you've drifted, God is only one step away. One prayer, one moment of surrender, one decision to say, "Lord, I need you," and He will be right there. He is the God who restores, the God who heals, the God who takes what is broken and makes it whole. There is a light that shines even in the darkest places. No matter how lost you feel, that light is calling you home. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to take one step toward Him. He will guide you. He will strengthen you. He will lead you to a place of hope and peace. Some of you may be thinking, "But I've tried before, and I keep failing." Let me tell you, failure is not final. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. He thought he had ruined everything. But Jesus restored him and used him to change the world. God does not see you through the lens of your failures. He sees you through the lens of His grace. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are not beyond hope. Right now, in this very moment, God is calling your name. He is reaching out His hand. Will you take it? If you are tired, if you are weary, if you are broken, Jesus says, come to me and I will give you rest. If you feel lost, He is the way. If you feel empty, He is the bread of life. If you feel hopeless, He is the hope that never fails. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter what you've done. What matters is where you are willing to go from here. Will you trust Him? Will you let Him lead you? Will you surrender your pain, your past, your doubts, and let Him show you the way? God has a purpose for you. You are here for a reason. The enemy wants you to believe that your story is over, but God says, I am not finished with you yet. So stand up, keep going. Take that step of faith. The road ahead may not always be easy, but you will never walk it alone. You are not lost, you are being led. You are not forgotten, you are deeply loved. And no matter how dark it seems, the light of God is still shining, calling you home.